What is up, guys? Jake from One Hive here with another Dawn of Titans video, and this is going to be one that I basically am going to title what Dawn of Titans needs to change or what they need to implement into the game. You guys know how I am. It is nothing to try to point at a game and say, oh, well, they're not doing a good job, or this game sucks, or anything like that. In fact, quite the opposite. If I am playing a game to the point that I'm making videos on it, I love the game. So I don't know if anyone from Dawn of Titans will watch this video, but if you do, it's just my style. It's just the way I look at things. I think it's human nature to look at things and try to talk about what needs to be improved, not just focus on what's right about something and praise that over and over, but yet how can we make it even better? So it's a great game. I love it. I'm having a blast with it. It just has things that need to be improved on. Now, that being said, guys, this game only went for a global launch in December. So it is a relatively new game. I know they had a long soft launch in other countries, but for the mass market, it's relatively new. And people that are watching this video are more than likely from a Clash background like I am. And we always compare things to Clash. But you have to remember, Clash did not get to where it is or where it was overnight. That game's four or 5 years old now. That's a long time. That's a lot of updates down the road. So we got to cut these guys some slack. Again, a relatively new game, and there's a lot of things they got right from the get-go. There's just things that need to be implemented and things that need to be changed. So here's my list, not necessarily in any particular order of relevance, but just some that I think really need to be changed, some that could be changed very easily and quickly, and some that I know will take time, but I want to put it out there. If you guys have other comments, other ideas, things like that, put it in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Maybe something I didn't even think about. I may roll some attacks in the background so you have to stare at my base. I'm not sure what I'll have to be drawing attention to or showing, but if it's just me sitting there talking, I will put some attacks in the background, so we'll see. First and foremost, now maybe I'm biased on this, but to me this is the most important thing they can do to the game, and I can't imagine it being too awfully difficult, considering every game like this, for the most part, has had it in some form or fashion. Excuse me. And that is replays. Now, yes, I'm a YouTuber. Obviously, it would be great for me to have those for that, but really for everybody, not just for YouTubers, for you guys. That's how you learn. That's how you see what works, what doesn't work. There's no way I can look at an attack on my base even and say, hey, these troops are just getting wrecked. They're not doing anything. They're not helping me at all. I need to adjust it. So that needs to really be part of the game. It's a way you learn for defense, for offense, new strategies, fun strategies. All of that cannot come. It cannot develop without replays. So we've got to have them. Dawn of Titans, please put some replays in this game just as soon as you possibly can. It's #1 on the list, in my opinion, like way, way above anything else. So replays, got to have them for any type of longevity, at least for this guy. #2, and this one's probably not definitely #2 on the list, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on there at this point. Improve relic system. In my mind, relics are quite tedious in this game. You get a ton of them. I mean, I've got 210, and I basically always have 210 with a bunch of overflow in my treasure slots. And I'm constantly trying to figure out, which ones I want to keep, which ones I don't. One of the main ones, problems in my mind, is the usable ones like these. I've got Goliaths. I go through those and use them, but I have tons and tons and tons and tons of spells, and I don't use spells in every attack, so they tend to build up. Tons of lightning spells, tons of fireball spells, things like that. It's just too tedious. It's just too much work. It should be easy and simple and not take up much time, and it takes up quite a bit of time in this game. I would probably do something to make them harder to get, make them mean more, maybe make them more powerful, so you get fewer of them, but they last longer, possibly. Something along those lines. It's just a little bit of a tedious part of the game, and really doesn't add a tremendous amount to it. Yes, it is important. I know it for some strategy, resistances and attack abilities and all those things, and that's good. I think that adds depth to the game. But just try to figure out a way to streamline it and make it to where it's not such a chore to manage all of your relics. The next thing I think the game desperately needs is control over your garrison. More so than simply putting in what troops I want to defend and what Titan, I want to defend my base. Just having the ability to pick what order sort of these other troops drop in, and I'm sort of experimenting with this mass pikeman right now. I think it's kind of strong against some different Titans attacking. But you know, much like you have in lands, there's different scenarios, there's different setups. You can sort of have some flanking troops and things like that. I think that needs to be brought to your home base to where you've got a little more control, a little more variety. I almost exclusively attack when I'm grinding victory points. I almost exclusively attack garrisons because they're all right in front of you. It's very simple. I know what I can take. And I pretty much never lose even any troops doing it. And again, I will show some attack you know, things that I attack, so you can sort of see how I handle it. But for the most part, I let my Titan do the work. But there needs to be some way to set those up or give them orders to where it makes it more difficult to attack a garrison, and that it adds depth to the defensive part of the game, not just the offense. So I think something like that is pretty important, pretty high on my list. The other thing I think needs to be done is to lower the timer on the troop request for your alliance camp. If they need to bring down the number, that would be fine, but it's way too long. It really is, especially people always wanting to do it for their daily quest to get their gems and whatnot. It needs to be reduced, and pretty significantly. And not to mention, instead of just having a gem countdown, it needs a countdown. You know, when I hit request, it's just going to show how many gems it takes to re-request. I have no real idea of how long it takes until it's ready to go again. So give us a countdown and reduce it by quite a bit. If you have to play with the numbers of how many troops we can get and how many we can use, things like that, understandable, but it's just too long. The next one is the portal stone system. Now, this is a pretty big gripe of mine because it takes 5 minutes, excuse me, to attack someone's base. It takes 6 portal stones. 5 minutes to regenerate a portal stone. That's 30 minutes for one attack. Now, right now at level 11, I can only hold 19. I think I can hold 20 once I upgrade my portal, my little portal over here. Yeah, I'll be able to hold 20, but still, that is 3 attacks. That means I am waiting an hour and a half to fill up my portal stones. I log on, I do 3 attacks, and that's it. I'm done unless I want to spend gems. It's a little bit of a money grab. I understand games like this are free to play and they have to make money to keep us all entertained and to keep updates coming out and to keep improving and just to keep the lights on. Granted, you got to have ways that make money, and I don't begrudge anybody that. So they have to have that, but it's a little bit too far right now. 3 attacks before I have to just either wait an hour and a half or spend gems to play the game is way too restrictive. I would say maybe on the order of half that, either cut the requirement in half or to make me replenish portal stones twice as fast. One of the two, I think would make the game a lot more enjoyable and still have some balance in there where people will spend gems when they want to, and when they get sort of a battle with someone back and forth. Gems will still be spent, but for the most part, it's just way too restrictive. It's too much of a bottleneck and needs to be adjusted, in my opinion. You'll keep more players on, and the more people stay on, the more likely they're going to spend gems. When people don't necessarily want to spend gems, it's easier to sort of encourage it when you keep them on the game longer. It's just sort of counterintuitive to give them a good reason to put the game down and to get off of it. So I think that's what you're doing with that. Now, along those same lines is the way the defensive shield works. Now, when I get attacked, you know, I've got a shield, and it lasts a long time. It's like 12 hours. But the problem is, it goes back to the portal stone system. I log on, I'm ready to play, I'm ready to do my attacks, and I attack somebody, and immediately, maybe that person or someone else attacks me because my shield is down. Now, I've got a choice here. Let's say I search for someone, I loot them, and I get, you know, 20, 30,000 loot, and I'm saving up for an upgrade, and I turn around and they hit me for 40,000 loot. Now I'm negative 20,000. Now I've got a shield, and I've only got 2 attacks remaining. So I might have to just do another attack or 2 just to break even on the entire session. Okay, so I'm going to get hit twice. I'm going to do 3 attacks, and my loot difference, because sometimes it's hard to find good loot, things like that is completely different. Now I know what you're saying. Oh, you can hit, you can hit farms and gold mines and maybe come out better because it only takes 3 to raid those, and that's quite possibly true. But depending on how active of league you're in, you're still in the same boat, and you still are going to sort of struggle to save up. At least that's my experience. Even when you're trying to really knock out a session and maybe even spend gems in a session to replenish your portal stones, it's just too hard. Now, the fix for this in my mind is to not have an immediate quote-unquote shield break. So if I was to come on right now and say, okay, I want to do some attacks, and I've got a 9-hour and 38-minute shield left because I had just been attacked a few hours ago, and I wanted to attack someone, maybe some type of system to where, hey, if I hit this garrison, I lose 3 or 4 hours off of my defensive shield, but it's not completely immediately gone. That way I can actually get resources, save up resources, and not get in this back and forth battle with someone else that's online, and we're just swapping our resources back and forth. It's just a matter of who gives up first. So maybe some type of declining shield system, maybe more for attacking a garrison goes away than attacking some lands, some islands, but some way to where I can attack, not immediately be vulnerable, and have all of my loot that I just worked for on only the 3 attacks that I have available get taken away. So something along those lines needs to be adjusted in my mind to make it a little more enjoyable to jump on and have a farming session without just sort of spinning your wheels and saying, oh, what did I just do right there? So something along those lines need to be addressed. Now, this one's a small one, maybe in some people's mind, but for me, it's actually quite large, a big one. And that is a league chat mute. It is a necessity. I do not want to hear these idiots talk. I don't ever want to look at league chat. It is nothing that I will ever utilize in the game. And to force this on me with these pop-ups when I want to know if someone in my alliance is talking, but I do not care if someone in chat's talking, and it all looks the same from this view. A little bubble pops up. I've got a message. I pull it up. Oh crap! It's league chat. So I have to go to league chat, clear that out to keep up with it, or it's just maddening. So please, for the love of all that is holy, put in a league chat mute. It is a necessity. You got to do it. And the last thing that I'll mention, because I think this one will take a while to develop correctly and to put in the game, and that is some type of a war system. Obviously, we all know that. Some type of competition other than just grinding VP. Very comparable, again, to Clash of Clans. Nobody just wants to push forever. We want some true competition. And that could go a lot of different ways. Obviously, you could just declare war, spin for a war, something like that, and you get matched up with an even type of another alliance. And you go back and forth, everybody gets an attack or two, just, very similar to something like Clash did. It could get even cooler than that, and you could actually have heads-up battles to where they're on controlling their defensive units, you're on controlling your offensive units. Now, obviously, that takes some bandwidth issues and some other things that, could lead to problems, but that's just one direction they could go with it. But the bottom line is, in a game like this, you got to have some sort of competition, and that's more so than just who's going to put in the most time. You get to that point to where it's like, okay, that's great, but I want to see who's better, not just who's got more free time. So obviously, it could be a long-term goal, maybe a year down the road, but set your sights on something in that direction, because you're going to keep a lot of people happy doing something like that. So there you go, guys. That's my list that I've came up with. Let me know in the comments below. Am I missing something obvious? Is there something that you really thought would be really cool? That would be a great addition or change to the game, and let me know what you thought of the list that I provided. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you work for Dawn of Titans, Natural Motion Games, or whatever it is, that's the official title, pass this along. Again, it's constructive criticism, and it's not like bashing or anything like that. I think you guys have a great game. You've done a great job, but clearly there's things that need to be improved to make the game even better. Hope you guys liked it. Until next time, Jake from One Hive, doing my best to help you guys subclass.